Welcome to Wisdom Within with Tina and Tonya. If resolutions feel like a guilt trip waiting to happen, then stay tuned because we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about shifting your mindset around resolutions, maybe looking at it in a completely different way. So, we've got some good stuff for you in this episode. So, stay tuned. But in the meantime, or to start us off, Tina, would you kind of help us get in that headspace?
Yeah, I'm burning some Palo Santo here, trying to get it to light. Ah, there we go.
I love that. Mm.
Go ahead and close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath in. Allow yourself to pull back all the energy that you've sent out this morning. Pull all that energy back into your body. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Another deep breath in. Allow yourself to be here right now. Ah, thank you. Go ahead and open your eyes.
Yes, thank you. So I really love this topic because I feel like a lot of our listeners are similar to you and I in the anti-status quo vibe. And we're recognizing how the way things have that people have been doing things, the way that you and I have been doing things in our past are really not leading us the way where we want to go. And so this is the time of year where people are really thinking about New Year's resolutions and what we're going to do in the new year and what we're going to set in the new year. And I feel like we're going to just take a wrecking ball to all of this today and say no to resolutions, but have something instead of that.
Mhm. I agree.
So let's talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions and okay, so what are your thoughts on those? What experiences have you had? Tell me a little bit about that for you.
So for me with New Year's resolutions, I tried, every year. It's like for years, I would try to write down my goals. What do I want? What do I want? And I would, I want to lose this 10 pounds or 15 or 100 or whatever pounds I needed to lose at that time. And I wanted to lose the weight, or I wanted to, um, you know, get a different job, or I don't know. There was always something, and I would try to write those down. And within, by mid-January, I've given up on it and I'm off doing, it's like, yeah, I can't stick with it, and when I'm doing that, I felt guilty. I felt like it was a frustration to me. And it was like, why can't I, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do that? And it goes along with kind of like our talk we had last week about uh
Self-doubt.
self-doubt,
Mhm.
and so that's kind of the self-doubt would come in and be like, well, I'm so stupid. How can, why can't I stick with this? So
Mhm.
that's probably been my experience with resolutions.
We're going to talk about the why in just a minute, but
Yeah.
I definitely feel that way as well. And for me, one of the experiences that I was having, very similar to yours, but I was also recognizing that I was looking for what resolutions am I supposed to set, you know?
Ah,
So it
yes, me
was,
too.
yeah, so it was what's going on. So at this time of year, there's a lot of, like you said, there's weight loss, there's exercise, there's this go, 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 push, push, push. Um, and so I was really looking for the correct resolution based on other people, right? This was before I believed in the wisdom within. And so I was trying to see like what are other people doing? What are they thinking? And then even in the idea of business, in the world of business, this is where businesses start on their new fiscal year, right? Where
Mhm.
they're looking at, okay, 2025 is going to be the year that we crush this goal or whatever.
Mhm.
And so they're putting that out to consumers. And of course, I was receiving all of it and like, okay, that's got to be my goal. And everybody's going to the gym in January. So I've got to be one of them because
Yeah.
that must be correct. And
Yep.
and then none of it ended up really being aligned. None of it really was something that I wanted to do or even wanted to carry on. And then all of the guilt and shame that comes with not being able to accomplish it and all of those things when in reality I don't think it was ever really something that my heart wanted to accomplish in the first place.
Right. Yeah, and just like kind of like what you said about the, that is the thing. Our emails are full right now of people saying, you know, make 2025 the best year yet. Let's set these goals or let's do this, and it's all rooted in that um consumerism, or and we want to push, push, push. We got to make these goals. We got to set these goals. And this is the only way that we're going to accomplish everything is by setting these goals and push and
And it's
push,
almost like it's pushed onto you, right? It's like
Mhm.
me as a business, these are my goals and I need you to accomplish them for me,
Exactly.
right? And it's,
Exactly. Yeah.
oh, it's gross. It's a
Yeah,
gross feeling.
it
And
is.
I do have a business and I do want to reach people because I do believe that the services I offer can be impactful and change their lives. I've seen that in the clients, but it's not my client's job to meet my goal.
Right.
So even like looking at that through a lens of business is I need to set a different type of goal, something that
Mhm.
is achievable for me, but not on the pressure of my clients, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Um, So I do think too that one of the challenges within this specific time of year is that the timing is off. The New
Hmm.
Year's resolutions. So we just had a couple of days ago, we had winter solstice. We
Right.
are midwinter. We are like winter, first day of winter. We are here. We are in the energy of rest and reflection, which is a perfect time to reflect on the things that we would like to accomplish in 2025 and reflect on what went right or what didn't in 2024.
Hmm.
But it is not the vibe of hit the door running, right? Like the bears are still hibernating in their caves, and we are too. And so I feel like that's a lot of what makes accomplishing these goals at this time of year very challenging for all of us is that the energy isn't there to support it. You know,
Hmm.
our bodies and our physical energy are still in that space of like, wait a minute, I need to take a breather and you're telling me to sprint, you know?
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
So, what are some of the things that I'm looking to see? We've covered some symptoms that come up with this, but let's
Mhm.
talk about a few more that you might notice. Are there some other symptoms that you might notice with trying to focus on um, resolutions?
Mhm. So for me, I mean, I talked about like the guilt and but what it is it's focusing on a specific outcome. It's like, you know, I want to make, you know, $25,000 in 3 months, or whatever. And yes, those are good goals, but when we're setting these resolutions, we're focusing on the outcome and not the we're not allowing it to be. I don't even know how to explain it. Give it to the universe, basically. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're
it's
talking the woo.
control, right?
Yeah,
We're
we're
trying to
we're letting go.
control
We're
it.
trying to control it. And so and it can be overwhelming when we are trying to set all these goals and set all these things, for the first of the year. It can be really overwhelming. And then we we look at it and we look back in, at the end of the year, and we're like, well, I didn't accomplish this, I didn't accomplish that. Then it's like, it's hard. It's just, to me, it's just not in alignment with how we are supposed to live our lives, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel too, it is, and it creates like let's just use the 25,000 that you mentioned. So if you
Mhm.
make 20,000, it's like I didn't achieve it,
Right.
right? And then it's like now we have this failure that comes in even though it's like I did 20. What the heck, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So it's almost like this focusing on lack and
Hmm.
focusing on what we don't have and what's not going right. And I think that it's also setting us up to fail because whatever processes we're doing, they're typically not sustainable, at least not for me. That's not how it's been in the past. So I have really pushed myself to reach a goal, and I am not to push.
Mhm.
Everything in my body, well, and the feminine energy is not push, right? It's pull,
Mhm.
it's magnetizing, it's bringing it in. Same within human design. Like generators are meant to do the things that bring you joy. It's not to push through and do hard, and projectors definitely not meant to push, right? So
Mhm.
I don't even know if anyone, I guess manifestors can kind of like send out that push
Yeah.
energy, but for the rest of us, it's really about doing the things that fills up our soul in one way or another. And I've not yet found a resolution that has filled our soul and then been sustainable, because if we're only going to do it for a sprint, we're not going to embody the lessons, we're not going to be able to maintain it, and we're going to constantly get in that cycle of burnout. Here we are,
Mhm.
right?
Right. That's a good point because I feel like that's what I see in setting the resolutions. It's that um we set those resolutions and yeah, I know there's so many, you see these top business people or these top coaches or these gurus that are telling us that we need to set these goals and write write down what is it, SMART goals, specific, um I can't think of all of them. Specific, M is
Measurable,
measurable,
attainable, yeah, whatever.
attainable,
All those.
and time specific. And with the SMART goals, yeah, I can see how those can work, but I can also see how they are pushing us in a way, just like what you said, we're pushing in a way that goes against everything in our being, right? And it just I when I kind of cringe anymore when people start talking about setting New Year's resolutions, or when I see the emails coming in, I just delete them that say, let's make 2025 the best year yet, or things like that. I struggle with all of that. So,
I do too, and I feel like a lot of people are, and but we're also searching for, okay, then what, because there's nothing wrong with setting goals and even having this idea of resolution, but really, like, I don't want 2025 to be the best year yet. I want my life to be amazing. I want every year to be awesome. I don't want to peak or pinnacle at 2025. And I also have no way of knowing what life will throw at me this year. So we also, like, there needs to be some flow in there. And I'm with you with like the SMART goals. I love them and I do believe that they have a place,
mhm,
but I think we can get really caught up in that can actually trip us up and create negative mindset and cause more challenges, more harm than good, I guess, in some
mhm,
ways. So really looking at, shifting it a little bit to, what do I want to feel? And allowing that to be some of what guides you. And instead of resolution, but more of a intention and a guided way of being. And what does that look like for me? And how can there be the flexibility of life? And shifting it to that as we move into not January 1, but the new year and the year
mhm,
ahead. Honoring the energy of reflection and renewal. What is it that I want to actually bring into this next year? What is it that I want to feel? And what do I want to accomplish? What are
mhm.
my intentions going to be? So I think that is like the remedy as we move into, okay, if it's not a resolution, then what is it?
Right. And it, our feelings are like when we feel, that's our body, right? That's our in our body. Our feelings are all in our body, and that is our body telling us that a certain way. So what I've been learning, I've been listening to Joe Dispenza's books lately, and what I've been learning is a lot about that is about how our body helps us to change our mind. So when we can feel, so when we are in those those times, like we're setting the goals, right? We're setting the goals and we're being repelled by those goals, basically, right? Our body's like, ah, no, I don't want anything to do with that feeling. But if we can set those intentions in a way that our body, we're setting up how we want to feel. So how do I want to feel in the new year? I want to feel joy. I want to feel, all of these, gratitude, joy, love, excitement, freedom, all these things. When we allow ourselves to feel those things and then start work changing that mindset and be like, okay, you know, this is how I want to feel. And we can write down those things that we want to do, but we want to focus on how we want to feel. I
Mhm.
don't know if I'm making any sense at all because I'm like my
Well,
brain's like going back and forth on that one, but
yeah.
yeah.
And it's being led by the vibe of
the,
what we want, right? The
right.
feeling that we want to have. And it doesn't have to be necessarily an emotional type feeling, or it can even be, so one thing for me, one of my focuses will be my health this year. That's I'm going to,
Mhm.
because my body's been sending me some signals. I've been having thoughts as well as physical sensations that, hey, it's time for you to pay attention to your health, knock your
Mhm.
shit off.
Right.
Like, quit not taking care of your body. That doesn't mean I'm hitting the door running and I'm pushing it on January 1 because consumerism tells me to. It means I'm going to be very mindful, and that is part of what I'm already starting it. I don't have to wait
Mhm.
for January 1 to begin.
Right.
And so what are the things that I want to do? How do I want to feel? I want to feel like I'm supporting my body, this physical shell that's holding my spirit. I want it to, it's not necessarily optimized performance. I don't want to rock hard abs, six pack abs or whatever. I don't care about that. I just want to feel like I'm fueling it with proper fuel. I'm giving it the rest that it needs. Um, and the movement, every time I move, I know that that's nourishment for my physical body. So those are things that I'm working toward, but it's going to be it's going to be paced differently. It's not like lose 10 pounds. It's whatever my body does as a result is the bonus. So it's a very different vibe moving into that versus I have to go to the gym 5 days a week or I have to whatever. It's the energy that we're putting behind it that is a shift as well. Intention
Mhm.
versus goal,
Right.
I feel like.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um, and
definitely.
and the end result is that I want to feel like I'm loving my body. I want to feel like not in a body image way, but in a genuine I love you and I'm feeding you good food and I'm moving because I know that feels good to you. Like that is the energy behind it for me.
Right. Yeah. And that's definitely how uh, I like to set my intentions too, is like, how do I want to feel? And I'm the same way. I'm working on my health. And I started this, what month after I got ill last a couple of weeks ago after Thanksgiving. Um, and realized that, I guess I didn't realize, I already knew, but it was like, okay, my body's like hitting me over the head with a 2x4 telling me it's time. And so I'm doing the same thing and I want to feel that too. I want to feel when I eat healthy foods, it's like, to me my body is just like, ah, thank you, thank you. I can feel it. It's like, ah.
Yep.
And that's the same thing. And like with my business, it's the same. It's similar. How do I want to feel in my business? What are the things that I want to feel as a result of whatever goal I have, so when we're thinking about setting those intentions, or um you could call them goals or whatever, but when you're doing that, make sure you're um incorporating, how do I want to feel? Because that is more, with you, it's like rooted in your values. It's rooted in everything that that you want to be, right? It's rooted in all those in you basically. And so when you can um take those feelings of uh, whatever it is that you want to feel as a result of whatever it is you want to accomplish, that gives you that extra strength in those goals or intentions that you're setting.
Hmm. And it brings in that flexibility and that flow, right? So
Mm-hmm.
instead of focusing on that result and that X number of money, amount of money or
Mm-hmm.
pounds or whatever, instead of having it be that, it's allowing us to focus on the flow and recognizing that, there are things that will happen throughout the year that might throw a wrench in your plans, and that's okay. And it kind of gives you that, like, you may choose to continue going on your walks and eating well during that time, but there might be some things that you might be down for a minute, or you might go out of town for a minute and it disrupts your routine. Instead of forcing yourself to meet that result, it gives you a little bit of that flexibility to flow with life so that you don't feel like, well, now I've completely failed and I'm derailed, and so why bother?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a very different thing with intention as well, that's really helpful, because there are so many of us that, if I plan to do something 5 days a week and then I get sick and I miss a couple days, then why should I even try? It's over, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost my streak, so to speak. And, you know, and in reality, that's life. We're going to miss the streak on occasion, and giving ourselves that permission to be human and to have human experiences and for things to come up, we still get to feel the way we want to feel. I'm still supporting my body. And right now, my body is saying I'm going on vacation and I'm going to eat some different foods, or I'm not going to exercise, or I am going to exercise. Like, it just gives you that almost permission to be in the moment so
Mm-hmm.
much more.
Yeah, I love that. And it also helps you to focus on the process and not the outcome. So that's one thing that I preach a lot when I'm talking about. So I do mandalas. I draw mandalas usually in the wintertime more than in the summer. I actually just started one last week, but um I draw these mandalas, and when I first started drawing them, it was like I look at these people that did these beautiful mandalas, and I'm just like, oh, mine doesn't look anything like this. And I had to learn to be in that process and not worry about the outcome. And what it does is it changes your mind so that you're you're in flow. You're in that open receiving mindset of being able to allow those things to come in. So when we're in that process, we're not thinking about the outcome. We're not trying to force the outcome. We're not trying to make it look a certain way. We're not trying to make it, be a certain thing. We're in that process. We're allowing that to come in however it's going to come in, and which is usually a lot better than what we even imagined, right? So it's kind of like the well, we talk I don't know we I don't know if we've ever talked about the about manifestation or about how you manifest or anything, but that's exactly what that is allowing that um allowing yourself to be in that state of flow, which allows you to be in that receiving mode, which then brings in all those things that you are wanting to have in your life. And so that goes along with visualization, right? So if we're going to visualize, what we do is we can sit down and take, you can do a guided meditation, or you can do just take a few minutes out of your day and just close your eyes and just imagine what how you want to feel. Imagine what that you can, like, imagine a experience you want to have. Imagine yourself, you want to go to the ocean. For me, it's like I want to go to Hawaii. So imagine myself on the beach walking on the beach, and how do I feel? How am I feeling as I'm walking on the beach? And as I'm, um, where am I eating, and what kind of foods am I going to eat there? And just as can be as detailed as you want to be with that. And but always have that, how am I feeling as I'm doing these things, and so you visualize those things, and then you just kind of let it go, and you let it go to the universe. And if you can do this on a daily basis, take a few minutes every morning and just visualize what that thing is that you want, but also make sure you have the feeling along with it. And then, do you have any more to add to that? Because
No,
I
I
think
was just,
yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about how, just like what you mentioned, the more you do that, um, it's almost like it becomes very, you drop in very quickly. You
Mhm.
automatically go there. The more that you visit that space, the more readily available it is in your mind. And so for you, I was thinking about how yours is the beach and you want to go to Hawaii. And I'm like, I have a forest. And it's the same forest every single time. Like I always go to that same, it's not a real place. Well, it may be, but I've never actually been there in real life. But I've been there so much in my mind that it's like I'm instantly there. And and the more it's like coming home, right? The more you visit that place, the more your body is like, oh, I know what we're doing here. And it's just an almost immediate feeling of calm, of peace, of at home, comfort. And I have the path in my mind. I know exactly what the trees look like. This place where I sit every single time is where I go. The
Mhm.
animals are all coming in. Um, and each time I go there, it's different. But that is always the place where I go. So that is like my visualization place. And I really do focus on getting into that feeling of peace and comfort and calm before I start like asking the questions or trying to get the guidance, because then I'm not coming to it from a place of like, I have to do this and I have to get this done and and I need to
Mhm.
make this and I need to do that and I need to whatever. It's coming from that place of I'm coming here for rest and relaxation, and then any insights I get. Sometimes I do when I'm there, but I don't put that expectation and pressure on. I'm not saying I'm going to sit here in this place until I have the answer to this or until I know what my goals will be or how I'm going to get there. I just because I feel like that's going to mess it up. So it's just coming in and then being in that space. And then, like what you said, allowing myself to visualize the perfect day, or how do I want to feel as I go about my day? Who do I want to serve? How do I want them to feel with the interactions that they have with me, and allowing that to be my intention? Or how do I want to feel as I go about my day supporting my body? And then I like to bring in potential obstacles sometimes as well, where, if I'm really focusing on eating well and moving, then what am I going to do like when the opportunity comes up to have unhealthy food or to be lazy and not go for a walk, or, and it does that feel okay to me or does it not? And how will I know? And I just kind of allow myself to visualize that as well, so that if and when those obstacles do show, then I'm like, oh, I already know, I already have a plan for this. I've already worked through this in my mind. So the visualization can be as detailed or vague, I guess,
Mhm.
as feels right to you based on what you're bringing to that space.
Mhm.
That's how I
I've
do
been
it. That's kind of
Yeah.
how, that's what mine, and I was like, even in my mind, I could see all of this. I was like, okay, don't totally go there because then you're like shut off here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's some of the way that I approach that visualization. And it makes it really nice because then I'm not sitting down like, well, where do I even go? I mean, I know
Mhm.
exactly where I'm going and I know exactly how it feels, and it's very familiar. And so it's very quick to get there for me.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and I do that on some things that I do, and on others I'm just in my house and just allowing myself to feel the feelings that I want to feel, and releasing. So another part of it is releasing those feelings that you don't want, or releasing that person that you don't want to be. I don't want to be the person that is eating junk food all the time. I'm done with that person. I'm the person that's eating healthy food. So kind of releasing that person that you don't want to be anymore, and then um allowing the person, the feelings of and the way that this person that I want to be is going to react or going to do, just like what you said, I'm going to react this way when I have this opportunity to eat junk food. I'm not going to do it or whatever. And so those are other things that you can do in your visualizations, is just kind of releasing those things, or even just kind of feeling um allowing yourself to release those feelings that you don't want to have anymore. Or, like for me, it's depression. I struggle with depression, have done for years, and I am not that depressed person anymore. I am this person over here now. And so there are so many different ways that you can visualize. And if you can find maybe a teacher or whatever, if you've never done it before, it might be good to find some good teachers that um, can help you to start with the visualization. But I think that is one of the biggest things, and one of the major things when we're setting goals, or when we're trying to set these intentions for where we want to go in our life. One of the biggest things is using that visualization and those intentions, and just really allow that energy, because that's what it is. Those intentions are energy, and intentions are like, we don't even know how powerful intentions are. When I create a drum, my drums, they're created with intention. So I feel I can, there are a lot of times the energy of the drum will help me to set an intention for what that drum is supposed to be working with. And so, and we don't even and it's energy, it's all energy. And those intentions, any intention that we set, or any intention that we can put out into the world, is when we do our drum circles, we drum with intention, right? We're sending intention for, sometimes we're drumming for somebody who's sick that we know, and we're drumming and we're sending intention, good intentions, to help that person to feel better. And so we, I, I actually, there was a video recently that I haven't got to watch. It's about the power of intention, and I've got to go look it up. But intentions are more powerful than we even know. So when we can um, set in those intentions and think about how we want to set intention and how we want to bring those things into our life, that to me is more powerful than, when we first of the year decide that we want to set this goal for, losing 10 pounds or whatever. That it's two totally different energies, two
Mhm.
totally different, vibe there. And
Mhm.
intentions are so powerful.
And I also think it includes, and this is part of something that we don't hear a lot, especially around goals or intentions or moving forward, is embracing the void of the in between. Because,
Mhm.
and this is where the visualization and the intention can help you, because when we're no longer the person that we were 5 minutes ago, but we're not yet the person we're becoming, we're in the middle, right? There's that void, that we're not on solid ground, because we're no longer this person and we're not embodying this old version of ourselves, but we haven't fully stepped into and become this new version either. So, with this intention, it is coming into it with the knowing that there's going to be a little bit of like, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know where I'm go like there's that the confusion. And
Mhm.
it's you can still have your intention, you can still know that you're moving in that direction, and then allow yourself to be comfortable with the in between, allowing yourself to recognize that. And that is very intentional. It is very purposeful. It is bringing that in, saying, I know that you can't do that with a goal, right? A goal is
Mhm.
just here to here and it's focused on that and it doesn't give you that allowance of having that internal like, holy crap, who the hell am I? And where did that person go? And it's allowing you to be in that space of discomfort as well. Which I don't think we give ourselves that when we're trying to just achieve a goal and accomplish a goal. We just think we're gonna do the thing and get there. And then all of a sudden we're like identity crisis, or we fall back into who we used to be because that is what we know and we can't maintain it. And I don't know, for me, it's just really giving ourselves permission to recognize that we'll be in that in between as we go about with this whole process. And that can be part of our intention is if we're going about that day by day, then this is the intention, this is the direction I'm going. And there might be some discomfort and some newness and some lack of self a little bit in that as well, but it kind of gives us that flexibility to be in that space.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's important to bring up because we don't, okay, let's just take the idea of money for a minute because it's easy for us to see, right?
Mhm.
If I'm no longer in the struggle with money because now I've achieved this new level and I've met this goal, so to speak, where I've been working on this intention, who am I if I no longer have that struggle? If I no
Mhm.
longer have that topic of conversation or challenge to be overcoming or whatever, or to overcome, it really can, then who am I? Where does that leave me? So the goals kind of, I feel like, put us in that space a little bit more because we're not really having an opportunity to become that next version of ourself, where an intention takes you there through it day by day by day. So you're very much
Mhm.
in it and connected with, um, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. It definitely makes sense to me, but and I think that um I was as you were talking about that, identity, like who am I if I don't have this any longer? Sometimes we tend to hold on to that, right? And and as a matter of fact, I've had a couple of drum circles where people have said that exact thing. I don't know who I am without this. And I'm like, that's where we're holding on. We're holding on to that tangible or whatever it is, tangible thing that we think we are, right? And we're holding on to those emotions where we're almost and it probably is an addiction to emotions. We're addicted to feeling those feelings, and we no longer understand, or we no longer know who we would be without those feelings and those emotions or those things. And that's what as being, like you said, who am I? Our emotions are basically who we are, right? They become our our um, personalities and all the things. It's because of our emotions. And so we're addicted basically to the emotions of being a certain way. And so that's where the visualization comes in again, is to help us to release that. And the intentions, like the intentions help us to start moving into that void of, like what you were saying, that void of not knowing who I am in this moment without that emotion. But I can see and I can feel in the future what I'm going to feel like as that new person, as that new. So, with those visualizations and feeling those feelings in advance, then we're able to have that knowing that that's who I'm going to be. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm headed.
It shortens that gap of the void
Mhm.
and makes it less scary because we've already seen who we'll be. We already have that
Mhm.
identity and it's already coming. It's not, holy shit, I'm drawing a blank. It's
Right.
not there. It's just, oh, okay, I recognize it. That's where I'm going
Mhm.
versus this blindsided me and I don't have a a vision of who that will
Hmm.
be, or a knowing in any way. It's bringing that unfamiliar into the familiar. And then before you know it, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm there.
Hmm.
Where it's like, oh, I did this.
Yep.
This is what I wanted to feel like. Holy shit, I am there. It's kind of
Hmm.
like sneaks up on you that all of a sudden you're there and you're through that piece, um, versus having that crisis of, oh crap, now what? It kind of
Hmm.
like eases that transition too, is I think what I'm trying to say with that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So,
Any other thoughts or anything on this topic that we need? I'm kind of looking at some of the notes that we have. I think we covered what
yeah,
we had.
I think so.
I think I feel complete with it. Do you feel complete with this topic?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. So, invitation to set an intention for your direction that you would like to go the next year, doing the visualization and allowing yourself to really focus on how you want to feel in 2025 and how you want to honor those feelings and honor yourself, um, as opposed to getting caught up in the do more, be more, achieve more vibe.
Hmm. Definitely.
Kind of like a good sum up of this, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Yes. So before I have you close the space for us, a quick reminder to everyone to please like and subscribe. Please share this. We do have our Wisdom Within toolkit that will be in the description below that will help you take these processes deeper. It's going to help you focus on one thing, and maybe this will be a great way for you to find your intention is which of those tools in this toolbox do you want to focus on right away to be able to help you as you go forward into this new year. And then also, do you have anything that you have coming up, any offers or anything that you're offering that's available that we want to let people know about?
Actually, I just have a planning day actually for starting on, I think it's on January 2nd. Yeah, January 2nd. I have a planning day coming up where uh, for business owners who are like healers or, like you and I, um, and it's more along the lines of we're going to just kind of, show gratitude for what 2024 and then, what we want to bring in, setting some intention, setting some um, what we want to bring in, and then also to kind of get a plan and not in a rush way, but a plan to move into, which will help us to move into the new year with more ease and grace, not this run, hit the road, you know,
Love it.
running.
I
Yeah.
know I'm definitely going to be there. I'm excited for that. So that'll be fun.
All right. What about you?
Yeah, I have my program Unbound. It's my one-on-one coaching program. It is most customized for each individual. I love this and I love it because it is really about relationships. So where you feel like you're not being seen in your relationship, you're not being heard in your relationship. It feels like just more and more you're building that resentment and things are coming up because the communication isn't happening. It's not like they're not picking up what you're putting down and all of that. But it is really about turning within and starting to understand some of those patterns. And what I love about it is we do use your human design. We use your gene keys. There's specific spheres in the gene keys that we can contemplate, and look at specifically, looking at the different levels of energy that are in that. And why do we keep repeating these same patterns over and over again that just keep us in that space of not being fulfilled in that relationship and what that looks like. So that I have, that's available all the time as well. And so that's what I've got right now on I would say on the horizon, but it's out there, it's available. So very awesome program. Especially to be able to help you understand, because that's the thing, right? We're repeating the same patterns, and especially in relationships, because that's where we learn. That's where the challenges really take place. And so it's reviewing those, looking at those, having a very beautiful understanding of yourself and what you bring to the relationship, as well as why some of those things may not be going over in the way in which you hope. And talking about setting intentions, like this is what it's all about, is how can I move through this not as a goal to achieve, but as an intention on a new way of being, and showing up in those relationships. So that is my Unbound program. So
Oh,
we'll have a link to both of our programs that we have coming up down below as well.
yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that. I'm excited. So, okay, well, with that, will you go ahead and help
Yeah.
us close this
Hold the
circle, this
space.
energy, this space?
Yeah. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Allow yourself to come back into your body, feeling your body in the chair, the weight of your body. Another deep breath in. All right. And you can open your eyes.
All righty. Thank you.
Ah,
Thank you. And yeah, we will see you very soon.
yeah, thank you.